Hey, Stoat, be good, yo.
What's up, guys? This is the Blue Ridge Podcast. I'm Dick.
I'm BG.
And we have had a hiatus, of course. As Steeler fans, it's kind of hard to, honestly, it was hard for me to get back in the joint for a little bit. I had to take a break. This is Super Bowl Sunday. We're not going to talk about it because this will be uploaded after the game. Quickly, I'll just say my prediction for who's going to win. It's going to be Seattle. So if you're watching this right now and I'm right, that's cool. I think he has the same.
Yeah, I'm going with Seattle. Yeah.
But I won't be surprised. I really think
Pittsburgh fans, man. At the end of the day, I know me. I don't want to see no team have more than us. So at the end of the day, I'm a Seattle fan. It's a hate watch day.
Yeah. With that being said, Drake May is one of my favorite quarterbacks right now. Vrabel is one of my favorite coaches. Mm-hmm. Stephon Diggs has been my favorite receiver in the league since AB was out. That's a random thought, but it really has been. I just haven't been able to, keep up as much as I'd like, because after the Bills, it kind of was like, Patriots. Well, no, he just got off the Bills. But no,
Texans,
he had an injury year.
He went to the Texans.
Yes, that's what happened. Okay, that's what happened. So it was hard to keep up with him, but he's been my favorite. So if he won a Super Bowl, I would be happy for him because I've seen all those confetti pictures. But let's get past that only because, you guys are going to be seeing one of those people already have confetti on him. And I really my intuition's telling me it's definitely going to be blue and green for confetti tonight. Sam Darnold comeback story is going to be pretty cool. That's what I can see right now. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And that should ignite us.
I feel like the Seahawks is a more dominant team. Like, they've been playing more dominant down the stretch and in the playoffs. Even the Patriots being a Nick's list team and the Denver Broncos last week by 3. It's kind of like
there's a skill gap.
Kind of swayed.
NFC's just better than AFC.
Yeah, the NFC's been better than the AFC all year. So I'm kind of just like I'm kind of rocking with the Seattle. Not even
if Patriots win, it'll be close stunner. It'll be like a crazy Drake May, the new Brady
that's a good
story.
Point because I think
it won't ever be. I
think it'll be a Seattle blowout, a Seattle close win, or a Patriots close win. I don't see it any way where the Patriots could blow them out. So I'm kind of going with the team I feel like is more explosive on offense with JSN. He's an animal. And then you have Kenneth Walker at running back, Rashid Shaheed, deep ball threat. I like the Seahawks in this matchup. But, we like he said, that's the winner's already going to be determined by the time this drops. So
yeah, my prediction is like 35 to 28 or something like that. I think it is going to be a close Seahawks dub. Because I do feel like the Patriots are going to play hard for Vrabel and play hard for their selves and whatnot. Yeah. But yeah, we'll get over that. It's gonna be pretty much just like a freestyle Steelers stuff where we're at. I'll quickly get through how I feel right now. First of all, Mike McCarthy, he is our new head coach. I will not ever not be a Steeler fan, so I'm going to be behind him. That does not mean I'm happy with the hire. I was unhappy with the hire. But now I'm starting to see more positive. I'm starting to actually talk to people that were where I was at a couple weeks ago, and I'm able to actually have disagreements with them. Able to is crazy, but more or less I have certain hitting points that I could see some positivity. But that's how all of us are going to be, right?
Yeah,
you love something.
It wasn't the popular hire,
No.
And yeah, simple as that. It wasn't the popular hire. But with him, I kind of was already more optimistic before we hired him, as I did call Declan. I asked for his thoughts about if we were to get him, and I'll just say the positive I like about him is, obviously the offensive mindset, the supposed quarterback guru he's supposed to be. I'm trusting him a lot. If I'm talking about negatives, and I'll say I know he's brought back a lot of guys that were with him in Green Bay, but I'm happy that he got guys that were able to thrive somewhere else outside of Green Bay, and not people that were necessarily with him in Green Bay, took long hiatus off of coaching and brought back. He actually regained staff that was, being productive in other places. Another positive for me. Negative, I would say, just the Aaron Rodgers situation. I feel like it's dead in the water. I feel like, I'm grateful for where he brought us this year. Pretty much where I thought he would take us. I did think we would get one playoff win at least with a guy like Aaron Rodgers and his experience. Didn't work out that way, but ultimately I'm grateful for what A-Rod brought in that one season. With that being said, I'm honestly not trying to go through another season of watching mobile-less Aaron Rodgers with a pretty good improving O-line, I will say. But
6 rated pro.
I honestly just think, it's time. There's a lot of things we're leaving on the table in the zone read game. Just other aspects. I feel like it's time that, we give Will Howard a shot, which I'll let that go into Will Howard and his thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, to bridge off the Mike McCarthy thing, I said this the other day. It's an annoying analogy, but like Wiz Khalifa in his prime was a great artist, and I still listen to his old mixtapes, but I don't give a shit that Mike McCarthy's from Pittsburgh. Yes, if he hosts that Lombardi and he does what he said he was gonna do, go back to his street, then yes, I'm gonna probably cry tears. But I would probably cry tears if I'm not gonna get political. I'm not gonna do that, but. People know how I feel about Trump, but if he was our head coach and he came in and got us a Super Bowl, I might close my mouth about politics, man. That's how I feel about the Steelers. I'm able to put certain things aside when it comes to that black and gold, baby. So, I'd probably still be pissed off. But the thing with McCarthy, I'll say that real quick, is like, I don't love the hire. I think it's another version of Tomlin's on the other side of the ball. I think it's going to be...
it was a lazy hire, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It was one of those hires.
It was a security hire. It was Art the second trying to say, you know what, I don't want to mess
you
this
didn't truly want
to...
You didn't, in my opinion, they didn't truly want to, experience anything newer.
No.
I think that was more of a...
They want to experience
we're interviewing Don Shula. We're interviewing...
Yeah.
I think that was more of a, giving your fans hope and maybe, like, putting a narrative out there that, these interviews didn't go as well as planned, and but I think it was all smoke in the air, and ultimately they knew what direction they wanted to go in from the jump.
Yeah. Which Art the second making that security decision, I don't like, but I do look forward to the fact that maybe this is my one thing about McCarthy, and that's how I'm gonna spill into what he told me to touch up on is quickly his staff that he's hiring. I don't have a problem. I love the defensive coordinator hire. I definitely think that the offensive coordinator doesn't matter, period. McCarthy already stated he was going to be calling the plays. It matters. It's still a game preparation. It's not like he's just a vacancy.
Dude from the Vikings, right?
Yeah, and he was a tight ends coach / I heard he lives and breathes football.
Tight ends in Green Bay.
Yeah, he lives and breathes football. So that's a cool thing. I mean, everybody should in this line of work, but nonetheless, with all the coaching staff, I'm not too high on him. I see a lot of, oh, you're my buddy, come on. But I will say I give him kudos because a lot of people acted as if Tomlin was unable to hire certain coaches. But right now we have an assistant head coach. We have, which I don't love that, but assistant head coach, which is a DB's coach, and as well as we also have a pass game coordinator now, which shows that we can do what other teams didn't. We had the lowest staff in the NFL for years in terms of the amount of coaches we have. And now it seems as if we're willing to fill vacancies that weren't there because we want as many, the more the merrier is a big deal. At any level of football, the more the merrier. There's people that need to be coaches just for small little things to just maximize your potential in that category, such as a pass game, of course. Biggest thing in football right now. Why not have a pass coordinator that can pick up some extra slack while the big dogs are doing their own stuff. So, but to get into McCarthy, outside of his hired coaching staff, obviously the guy's a decorated Hall of Famer eventually, in my opinion. I think this run will definitely solidify him if he does do well. I don't expect him to under what he's been saying in terms of early success, but my biggest hope for him is to be the quarterback whisperer that people are claiming he is. I want Will Howard. I think Aaron, I'd agree with everything he said. Aaron's non-mobile. He doesn't fit in today's day and age. He would have in his past, but I'm saying 40-something-year-old version of M42, I believe. Doesn't fit in today's day and age.
Next season.
Oh, really?
Next season, he'll turn 43.
Yeah, man.
So,
man, that's not even too far off my pops.
Yeah,
my dad gets off the couch sometimes and starts hurting, and I don't care if you're a professional athlete. Like,
he's
at the end of the day, age is age, bro. That stuff will get to you. So, I'm a big no Aaron Rodgers, but thank you for what you did, and it was cool seeing you in New Jersey as a kid, looking at your games on Thanksgiving. I was in awe. You are the greatest quarterback of all time in terms of talent. You can't pass up Brady because Brady just had that mindset. But Mahomes and Allen are coming up on you in terms of talent, but you're the GOAT when it comes to a lot of things. When it comes to just raw talent, but I don't want you here anymore. I want Will Howard
number one for sure. Like when it comes to arm angles and all the different trajectories, layering of the ball and stuff, yeah, you're the GOAT.
Yeah, the most excited I'll be for this Steelers season, given the fact that I probably would have preferred a Shula. Now that I look back, my biggest hire, and people probably disagree with me. Yes, offensive mind is attractive, but McCarthy's older, and I don't feel as if he's necessarily one of these gurus now in nowadays game. I do actually look back. I kind of wanted Brian Flores only because I think the defense would have been on point, and he would have also done what I thought Shula would do, which is get people that are like-minded in terms of innovation and trying to get he would get offensive people in positions. I did want Flores now I look back at it, and he was probably my third option behind Shieldhouse and Shula, but I wasn't really I was never too high on anyway. That's why with this hire, as much as it looks like a safety hire, I'm also like, you know what? There was nobody sticking out like that where I'm like, right. I wanted him. So
and you know what?
There could be beauty within this eventually.
What I another thing I told Deck was like, I'm not a big like believer or buy into type of guy into like the hype when it comes to coaching, because I feel like ultimately fits are important. The culture you're trying to establish at that place is important. I just feel like, for me personally, I feel like I'm just happy for the turnover. Not having a fresh start with no Terrell Austin, having a fresh start with no Arthur Smith. Yeah. Not that Arthur Smith wasn't good in spurts, just that I
think we're bringing like 3 people back, and they're not even like.
Yeah. High. So I'm happy with the turnover overall with the coaching staff.
I'm
hoping it brings something different, But to my point in saying I don't believe in the hype, I feel like in a way a fresh turnover isn't necessarily bringing in youth, but it's more about freshly doing different things on the field. And I think as long as we see that, I could be comfortable with the hire. As long as I can see us attacking the middle of the field multiple times throughout the game with guys like Pat Freiermuth and everyone else, then I could be like, you know what? He's maximizing the guys that we have, and he's putting them in position for our offense to be very successful. I'm going to trust him on the defensive end. I know the Raiders didn't technically have the best defense, but they actually were pretty good, like 14th in the league.
For what they had.
Yeah, and they weren't exactly.
I think they were really only had they were one of the least paid, and we were the highest paid.
Exactly.
So imagine what they could do.
They were the least paid. So
I love the
defensive. The most least paid.
The defensive coordinator hire is great.
Yeah, so I think I'm.
Do you know? I looked at his resume, guys. I'm not acting like I knew him before.
Yeah, I forget what his name is.
I did not know him before.
It's a lot of different coaches to keep up with, but what I'll say, I'm happy with the hire because, I've watched the Raiders versus the Chiefs and give them a hard time. I've watched them against teams and be scrappy. It's more their offense that wasn't able to get going. So I'm happy with the hire. Overall, I'm one of those guys like I want to give people chances. Same way we give anyone else a chance, We gave Tomlin many chances. So I'm one of those guys, if it doesn't look remotely any different after year one, then of course, I would understand fans coming for ownership and coming for Mike McCarthy
of course.
And these guys being the veteran coaches they are. I think you would have more leeway with a guy like Don Shula, who, is inexperienced as a head coach. So you might give him a little bit more leeway early on, but when you bring in a guy like Mike McCarthy, now I'm expecting us to raise up to that Super Bowl level. And if it doesn't, I'm expecting us to plummet all the way to the bottom, which I wouldn't be necessarily mad at. Going back into Will Howard, I do want to say, I think Will Howard has the skill sets to be a very good quarterback in the league. I think his running ability could affect first down and second down yardage, and ultimately could put us in better positions on third down. I think there's a lot of positives that could come from a guy like Will Howard. With that being said, if he's not the guy that I think or a lot of the Steeler Nation thinks, if we rock out with him and we do have let's say a bad season, okay, now we have a high draft pick. Now we can finally turn the tide in terms of draft. I think this year, ultimately we go in on weapons. I'm hoping this draft we go in on weapons, load up the wide receiver room, load up the DB room, the D-line room, and we rock out, you know. And next season, if we have to get a quarterback, that's what we do. But at least we have people in place to where the transition will be smooth. I think that's most of Steeler Nation's thoughts on it, because I'm pretty sure no one in Steeler Nation wants A-Rod to come back. And it is frustrating that Mike McCarthy is like leaning towards that direction.
That's what I was gonna get on, man. Like, I'm not cutting you off, but
No, you're not.
this hire itself, I can see past, you know, the home thing doesn't touch me too much. And I'm from North Carolina, but I'm a Pittsburgh guy through and through when it really comes down to it. So, like, yeah, that stuff has touched me before. But when it comes to the current state we've been in, I don't care that he's from Pittsburgh, but that does touch me in some ways. But with the, like, there's positives I can get out of it. That's not one of them. But I see his, you know, offensive mindset and all that possibly being good. If Aaron, which he stated that that's the no-brainer for him, that's a big red flag for me. Just because if he was talking about mobile quarterbacks and the innovation and the current trends of the NFL, just like Tomlin has over the years for the past however long. Excuse me. Tomlin has been referencing the mobility at the quarterback position, and his quarterbacks have been Kenny Pickett, which was not as athletic as people wanted him to be. We'll get into that draft, by the way, because I wanted Malik Willis out of the draft. I don't currently want him, though, based on the fact that we had like 2.5, 3 games of him. And I feel like that could end up not being a great situation if we were to land him. But I don't want Aaron Rodgers back because I feel like imagine this. The last time you ever were in contention for anything, realistically, you were in the Super Bowl against McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers. And now, years later, after a decade slump of not winning anything, those are your two guys. It's not about the quality of their resumes. It's about the fact that those are your two guys. That was 2010, bro. We're not in 2020. It's not just a decade. We're coming up on 2 decades from that. That was in 2011. Nonetheless, so long ago, bro. But yeah, the quality of this hire really, as much as he said, and maybe he was, you know, maybe he knows some things that Aaron said, and maybe he was putting on the, you know, giving him the goat, like, hey, of course we'd love to have him back. Yeah. But Will Howard is our best option right now. That's how I think. I think, just like D said, it's a non-losing situation in terms of, yeah, McCarthy's probably locked in for 5 years. We have really good coaching, not even just coaching, job stability as a whole here. Mm-hmm. So when you look at it, have a down year, get your guy, whisper in the ear of somebody that's a round 1 guy, and that'll probably look better. But Will Howard, although he's a 6th rounder, I had him like 3rd. What? My bad.
No, that's my fault. I was good. But the thing is, you know, what was I about to say? Dang. About Mike McCarthy is the thing that intrigues me about him is obviously his resume with offenses. I think quarterbacks, but offenses. You know, Dallas had one of the best offenses every year he's been there.
They're like 12-4 like 3 times.
Was terrible.
12 wins is hard to come by now.
Yeah,
I gotta give him
they
that.
perform in the playoffs, but if you're leading our team to a 12,
he won
even those years.
He won one in
Cowboys,
2023. I'll give him that. Tomlin won one in 2017.
Yeah, if I was a Cowboys fan though, you felt like you was a contender back then. And that's all
it was
I want.
Fun to watch.
That's what I want to feel like.
Something fun to watch.
That's what I want to feel
I watched the Cowboys this year.
Oh, that's what I was about to say.
It was fun to watch.
Yeah.
Give me something fun to watch.
But
that's why I want Will Howard, because that's more fun than a guy
the way the Steelers think, though, bro.
Can't move.
You know, the way the organization thinks, the way, you know, the ownership, the way the coaches think, and the way the culture is in Pittsburgh is a lot of them are not willing to take the sacrifice of having a terrible season.
That's why they hired McCarthy.
With that being said, that's where in my mind I'm like, okay, is McCarthy gonna come here with the mindset of I gotta do good enough, or is it the mindset of I'm either going to the top or we're plummeting to the bottom? I'd rather have that mindset of we're either going to the top or we're not gonna be there. And if we end up in the middle of the pack, we're gonna look good doing it, you know?
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's hard to win NFL games. At the end of the day, you could be a very good competitive team and still come out with a 10-7 record. I'm fine with that as long as we're competing and beating teams that are worthy of winning a Super Bowl. And now, if we do that, then okay, you know, first year we don't go farther than what Tomlin took us. I'm not going to be mad at that. If it looks better, how could I be mad at that? You know, because ultimately that's what we lived through with Tomlin was not the satisfaction to the eyes, but we did enough to break even and go to the playoffs. Cool. But we've seen that story how many times?
Yeah,
it's time to have a different
and that's
story.
what we're going to see, in my opinion, if we get Aaron back. Aaron's going to get us 9-8.
That's it.
10, maybe 10-7,
Aaron pushes
and
us
a
there.
first round blowout.
And who knows? Aaron
Maybe
might,
a first round competitive game because of the offense being more, hopefully it is more productive. Our
it's just
offensive line
hard
is
for me
coming
to
along.
believe, like,
And I'm not saying Will's going to take
even
us
because
to the Super Bowl, obviously.
Look, we talk about the experience though, bro.
Something, though.
And like
Different.
the experience of a quarterback is important, but obviously that shit didn't lead us nowhere, And
Today's day and age, we got inexperienced guys in the Super Bowl right now.
Exactly.
I'm not saying they're overly inexperienced, but
so
bro,
like the wet dream of like having we got this
actual
veteran quarterback, we got this guy that's been there multiple times. Ultimately that doesn't matter no more, So that's where I have the thing of like,
Yeah, we're anti-Aaron right now, even though we both were high enough on him during the season.
I was high enough on him.
Just anti-bringing him back.
But I was high enough on him already for 1 year. Like, it was never like, I want us to have him for this X amount of years. No, it was, my biggest thing was, can we keep him protected for a year? And can you give us what we get? I never even thought we would have an idea of bringing him back. But, of course, with us going to the playoffs, bro, we made it to the playoffs. No, I don't think we made it that year with Duck Hodges. But we broke even with Duck Hodges. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, bro,
we made it with a lot of
we clearly
cats that should have been there.
Yeah, we proven
Mason Rudolph went on a stretch. We thought he was about to.
Yeah, he took us to the playoffs. So
we thought he was about to win a playoff game against Buffalo.
We've proven that players that are not our franchise quarterback could take us to the playoffs.
Yeah.
So that's my point in saying, just because Aaron Rodgers took us to the playoffs doesn't mean he could take us.
I think the players only want him back too. They
understand
the league more than us.
We're not winning
but they just want him baed because the camaraderie and they liked him. Okay, yeah. My buddy, I like D a lot. If there's a plumber out there and he tells me, I looked at a couple YouTube videos, I could come fix your toilet. Hell no. I'm hiring the guy that I think could, he's a young up-and-coming plumber. He actually knows the job done. I don't care about if you like him or not. And I think at the end of the day, there's confidence within Will Howard in the locker room as well. I think people see, I personally don't think that an organization is going to put their full-on trust in a sixth-rounder. And that doesn't mean he won't be a starter. I think they're going to kind of, be puppeting him a little bit. But nonetheless, regardless of what happens, that's who the guy needs to be. But
because Will Howard has enough confidence in himself. I look at that first. And I was talking about it with...
He has so much tenacity and fire,
But a guy like Justin Fields, he was kind of more of a yes man, and he was going to do what was required. But I didn't necessarily feel like he had the confidence within himself until
I still would have rather Fields
until he started performing at a level, right?
Yeah.
Where he could gain confidence in himself. I feel like Will Howard already has the smarts, the intelligence, and the confidence in himself to go out there and understand what he's doing from his mistakes. I threw a pick. I understand why I threw that pick. A guy like Justin Fields could throw a pick and go back next series and throw a pick because he didn't learn from what the hell he just did. And that's not a knock on Justin Fields. I still like him as a player and all those things, but he wasn't there mentally to be a franchise starter.
As a first rounder too.
Yeah.
And Will's not going to think like a sixth rounder.
Is they both
Will gets in there, he's going to think like he is the
He's going to think like a winner,
guy.
bro. He's going to think like a winner.
He's been a winner everywhere he goes.
Kansas State. Ohio State. He won a natty,
high
bro.
School,
it's not easy to win a natty, bro. He went to O State and won a natty in year one with a different system, different coaching staff, turnover. You know what I mean? So it's like, at what point do we just associate this guy with winning and give him a shot? I think, like I said, if he didn't have the skill sets, right? Let's say he doesn't have the best arm talent. So let's say he didn't have the best arm talent and he couldn't be mobile. All right, you're kind of putting us in a...
It's like Mason.
Yeah, it's kind of like, all right. But no,
Mason's
you have a skill set.
But...
You bring a different skill set than what we're used to in terms of, not the Justin Fields type of running, but you could give us those tough yards, those 4-yard gains, and make it 3rd and 6.
Those 3rd and 2s are in there.
Oh, yeah, bro. So
push with him, that's
come
in
on,
there,
bro. It's like the way we
Aaron
play.
Rodgers, you don't got to get Connor Hayward in there now.
Yeah.
That boy eats meat and drinks milk.
Mm-hmm. So that's my kind of my way of saying, I hope we just give him the reins because, the skill set's there. If the skill set wasn't there, I would be like, okay, well, fuck it. Let's throw, excuse my French, but let's throw Mason Rudolph out there, or someone like that, But, I do have confidence in Will Howard. Don't get it wrong. Certain highlight reels and, stuff with the music in the background gives me a little bit more animated.
That YB Will Howard's different.
But you know what? I truly believe Will Howard, his passion for the game will be infectious in the locker room. Mm-hmm. That's a guy, you just got to give him a shot, man.
You can rally behind that guy regardless of his play. I mean, we rallied behind Kenny and he didn't do...
And I want to see a different type of guy that, things go wrong. I want to see him being just as passionate as Aaron Rodgers, but more of a constructive way.
Less of a douchey way.
Yeah, and
Aaron Rodgers
less of a
just yells
blaming
at
way.
you as soon as you do something
what the hell
wrong.
are you doing? I'm not trying to see
I'm not trying to see that for another year, bro. Me
Nah,
either.
bro, I'm not trying to see another year of that, though.
I'm going to get to a point here. Aaron Rodgers, Will Howard. I'm gonna get to my third guy, second, I should say. You know who I'm talking about. But first, I'm gonna say let's think of a faceless question mark QB, and we'll take into account that Aaron. I think he had a good amount of weapons at the Jets, and I think obviously he could have done better last year with a wide receiver too. And Will Howard, his best run of his career was at Ohio State, winning the national championship, and people would say they credit a lot to his receivers, but if he flourished with them, surround him with talent. So naturally, I think we should double dip a wide receiver in the draft. And I'm not even going to get too far into that. I don't know too many
100%.
names. I'm about to start right now. Like, after this Super Bowl tonight, that you probably already know the outcome of, and I'm sure wide receiver will be a huge part of it. I'm sure guys are going to be going off. Shout out to Cooper Kupp, resurrecting his getting a double against his old team. I mess with Cooper Kupp. And Stephon, obviously, that's my guy. But nonetheless, what I'm getting at is we need a wide receiver too, but we also need we need double dip first round and then maybe second round. I don't care if anybody thinks I'm crazy for that. Get them receivers going.
Those are the most
Aaron, if it's
important
Will,
needs.
whoever it is going to help. If I'm out there and I only have DK on the island, if you know me, you know I can't throw a football.
Bro, and it's different because
I might be all right.
We got two second round picks this year, so yeah, you double dip.
Double dip.
That's exactly what
double
you do.
dip. Like
You
last year,
grab
we
a-
double dipped in D-line, regardless
you
if it
grab
was
a receiver.
first round is fifth
You grab
or whatever.
you grab a Jordan
Fifth and
Tyson.
sixth.
You grab a Mekhi Lemon.
Sixth and seventh.
You grab a Jacoby Lane. Any of those type of
Get up in
receivers
there.
coming out.
Get up in there.
Then you grab another one that's potential through the roof, like we did with George Pickens. You know, a guy like that, can take the top off the defense and just be versatile all around. Where you can play him in a slot or the outside.
Yeah.
We got DK, cool. I think DK with some more weapons could be dangerous.
Great.
That's my
Firemouth is
personal
that guy. Ben said that.
Yeah,
Been
so
a
we
big
have
Firemouth
weapons, but yeah, like he said,
Our
man,
running backs, if we get a mobile enough quarterback, even if it is Will, which of course that's my first option, our running backs RPO game would be crazy even with Will.
Bro.
My next point, I'm not gonna cut you off too quick. You know what I'm gonna say.
What's up?
Second option, if Will Howard doesn't look good, if you don't have too much trust in him, get that boy Kyler Murray, number one. Phase Kyler Murray. No, Phase is done. Either way, man, get Kyler Murray up in here. RPO game would be crazy. Yes, he hasn't shown to be a work guy. He hasn't been a hard-working guy in the league. But the flashes of talent we have seen, he was a first-round pick and the first overall pick. Not saying that always holds weight. Of course, we got Manziel and stuff like that. That dude, he's over there with Drake drinking right now. He ain't doing nothing. He ain't doing yeah.
Yeah, not
Kyle
to play
Murray,
devil's
though.
advocate.
Wait, what? With Kyle?
Go ahead.
This is my last thing I'm going to say, though, because I'm not even keeping it long. So, yeah, I want to hear D's opinion, of course, which I've already heard some of it.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray, the thing is, stopgap, I'm not a fan of, but the talent, you could be able to squeeze a lot of juice out of that. Like, stuff that you didn't think was there, because nobody ever denied his talent. They denied his playmaking ability, and, of course, we don't like short quarterbacks. Nobody does. I'm 6'4", my son's coming up, and I'm like, you need to be a quarterback because he's big. I want big quarterbacks. High school teams, I'm like, why don't they got the 6'4" dude, tight end, playing quarterback? I'm huge on Will Howard, Josh Allen prototype guy. But with Kyle Murray's escapability, his throwing is over the top. He overthrows a lot. But with our current offense, I do think he could be fluid in it just because you got Darnell's to dish it off. You got Firemouth to hit it up the seam. You got a DK guy that if you throw it up, I don't think he's the best 50-50 catcher, but if you throw it up well enough, speed-wise, he's going to go get it. And you get some more receivers around him. And then with the RPO game would be nuts. I do think the RPO game would be crazy because Kyler Murray is one of the funnest players to watch in the league, regardless of if you think he's great. And he's obviously not great. The only thing, this is my last point, though. McCarthy said that he really respects his game, would love to work with him. This is from a source that is highly creditable. It hasn't been an over-amplified story, of course, yet because lingering rumors with Rodgers coming back as well as Will Howard being the guy, which I want Will. But if for some reason, the football guards aren't feeling that and the coaches aren't feeling that, Kyler Murray is my only other option. I liked Malik coming out of the draft. Willis, don't want him now. Kyler Murray, I think, is going to have a Darnold resurrection in a couple years. I don't know what team's going to go get him. Sounds crazy, but I think he's going to be at least top 10 statistic quarterback again, just because of his ability, his escapability in the modern day NFL. If you get a good enough offense around him and plug him in, like let's say San Fran gave up on Purdy, I really think he could go to a good offensive scheme and go crazy. It depends on if our offensive scheme is great. I'm going to let D take it because my Kyle Murray take, I even kind of like, almost like...
And I agree.
Suck my words in sometimes.
I agree, but I'm going to disagree in the same breath because I do think the skill set of Kyle Murray itself is one of the more top-end quarterbacks in the league. You know, his upscale is very intriguing. You know, he makes a lot of good angle throws. His escapability in the pocket, his ability to extend the play, his ability to scramble and run and get you a first down are all things that I think he could bring to the table for us, right? With that being said, a couple of knocks I would have on him coming to Pittsburgh is more so mental dash like schematics, right? And I feel like a guy like Kyler Murray is similar to a guy like Jaden Daniels, similar to a guy like Lamar, where you got to kind of make the system around him. And I feel like he has to be a big focal point in the system in order for him to thrive. I think the difference between guys like Sam Darnold, Kirk Cousins, Geno Smith, guys who necessarily revived their career, I feel like it was more due to the fact that they put guys around them that were very talented, and they came in with the understanding of, I don't have to do too much.
Double dip in the draft.
Yeah, and I feel like they understood. Sam Darnold understood that he didn't have to go to the Seattle team and do too much. The talent around him was good enough, so he did what he was asked of and did what he was supposed to do. Jalen Hurts, another guy, where if he was the system of the Eagles, they would not be a good team. But because you have Saquon, you got AJ on the outside, because you have Devontae Smith.
That's why I'm high on Kyler, though. You're able. In current NFL, you don't need the brain,
right? But you're able. But a guy like Jalen Hurts is comfortable, fine with being in the system and not being the system, right? A guy like Kyler Murray, mentally, I feel like him always being the system from college to even to Arizona, he might come in with a different mindset of, I still got to perform at this top level, especially guys that are trying to revive their career. I could see him coming in with the mindset of doing too much and not doing what's needed or what's asked of him. And those are my main concerns when it comes to him. Another one is, you know, his touchdown to turnover ratio, it hasn't been the best. I think his best season was I'm gonna look because I don't want to give you guys blow smoke, and I'm not trying to like put facts out there, but it's more about like, I'm just trying to see what he brought to the table these past years.
Yeah, which that's why I suck at my words a lot with him, because I know there's like, my knocks for him coming here are huge too.
So, for example, like, okay, his best season was a 24 touchdown and 10 interception season, which is like not bad, crazy. But it's just not, it's not great for a guy that needs to be the focal point of an offense. His highest throwing season has been 3,971 yards, which again is not bad, and that could work for a team like us. If he was willing to come into Pittsburgh and be a guy that makes on-time throws, a guy that's, you know, running when he has to run and not like necessarily trying to prove that he's this guy, this electric guy, I think he could be good for us. Another thing, my last reasoning is, I honestly feel like he will put us in the same situation as an Aaron Rodgers in terms of success, because I do feel like he's good enough for us not to be towards the bottom of the pack, but I also feel like he's not good enough to put us over the top. So I feel like we would still end up coming out with a 9-8 or a 10-7 type of record. And I'm kind of just like, I'm kind of through with the recycled. I'd rather see something new with Will Howard and see it burn to the ground before we try to like play around with another project at this point. Because now if Tomlin came back, I would probably be more on board. But since we're going refresh, new, I feel like we should just go all the way fresh, new. You know, whether that's getting a quarterback in this year's draft, whether that's trying out Will Howard. I just want it to be something new, something fresh, something where a guy doesn't have to go into another environment. And Kyler's been playing for about, what, 5, 6 seasons
Honestly,
now?
as crazy as it is, I think it's 7 or 8.
Yeah, something around there. I know he was there. I want to say after Baker Mayfield, so 19, 20-ish type of seasons. I just honestly feel like a guy like him is very talented. I'm not taking away from nothing he does. And I even told Dak.
He'll have a job.
Yeah, I told Dak, like, bro, you pawn his highlight tape, bro. He had some of the craziest plays of all time. I did the other
night. I was a little loose
and it's
too,
easy.
And I was like, whoa, this is our guy.
But my point, I would kind of rather like, and I'm walking back what I used to say because I told him personally, like, I thought Daniel Jones would be a terror. Like, we better not grab him or I won't be a fan type, you know? But I'd rather have someone who's...
I wanted him before Rodgers. I didn't want him first overall, but I did want Danny Jones before Rodgers.
Yeah, I just want to... If we were to go that route, I would want a guy who's young, who's younger, you know, and he's not looking to be... He's just willing to do the things that he's asked of. Kyler Murray is such a talented player. I feel like it would be hard for him to just stay in that Pittsburgh type of system.
He'll do some backyard shit.
Yeah, and it might look fun some plays, and other
Ben
plays
used
you're
to
going
do
to
that,
want to
but Ben was 6'5", tough.
Yeah, you're going to want to rip his head off.
Top 5 quarterback all time.
Just like any other quarterback. They're going to have bright moments and bad moments. I think, yeah, Kyler Murray could bring us a lot of good moments. I don't know if he'll bring us enough to where we'll be 12-3.
I think it would be fun to watch compared to Aaron. But I think a lot of people would.
Appealing to the eyes, yes, it would be better to watch. It could also be worse to watch. You know, it's like that, the opposite of the steady Eddie. Like,
he's my second. I want Will, and then I want Kyler.
But you know what? If we got Will, I told him I could easily be wrong because of the type of talent he is. He could flourish, you know. Yeah. But I feel like he had his best shot at Arizona. And I will say this: when he had Cliff Kingsbury, he was a better player. When he had Cliff Kingsbury as a head coach. When Cliff Kingsbury moved to Washington, which would have been last football season, you kind of seen the dip. This year he got injured, so I'm not going to hold too much against him.
They're also somewhat of a poverty franchise too, the Cardinals. Like he didn't come into like a decorated like environment with a bunch of crazy like.
They were all right. Coaches. They were like Cardinal was like obviously one of those teams like they're not the bottom of the barrel and they're not the top of the pack. You can kind of compare them to the Steelers in terms of like.
They've been lower production.
They're not. Yeah, they're not. They're not. The name of the Cardinals is not the Steelers. The organization of the Cardinals is not the Steelers. But in terms of performance, they were that team that walked around the edge of being in the playoffs. The team that walked around the edge, you know. And that's kind of what I mean. Of like, I didn't see him take. Even when they got Marvin Harrison Jr., I expected Kyler Murray to take off with a guy like that. Whether that's due to Marvin Harrison not being as good as what we thought initially, or whether that's due to bad quarterback play, we don't know. But it's like one of those things. Like, was it because Kyler was doing too much, or was it because other reasons? I don't know. But what I'll say is I'm kind of through with the experiments, but I can understand that being intrigued by it.
There's an intrigue there only because of the fact that we got a 6th rounder that we all want to start, and I could see NFL coaches coming together and saying maybe that's not the best way to go. I can see them going outside, but I do want Will. I guess not even to move on from that, because as much as like we could go down the line, I do think a lot of this episode is kind of like covered in some aspects because the offseason really is, for the Steelers the last couple of years, really is quarterback and head coach. Right now we have one of them. Quarterback is the theme of this episode, I'd say, because of the fact that we're moving towards, that's your nucleus. But I guess to get off that, as long as you're like kind of done with it, it's like, offensively, I think our line is on the upcoming. It would not be bad to dip in the draft this year and get an O lineman. It wouldn't be. You got Sayamalu aging. You got some stuff going on that, I don't know if we're going to re-sign Broderick. Like, we got stuff going on that it would be nice to get a D lineman or an O lineman that is a versatile guy or a guy that you could see turning into something from a lower round maybe. We have enough picks, though. Maybe we could get like a 3rd round O lineman.
Yeah, 3rd, 4th round. It's just like,
be nice.
Let's load up on the things we know we need, and instead of the things that we feel like we might need.
Yeah. I'm good on the line for the most part,
but I agree.
And running back room is great. We don't need to get one running back at all.
Yeah, it don't matter how good your line is. You're always going to draft some linemen, right? So it just depends. Like, are we going to do it earlier in the draft or later? But I feel like 3rd, 4th round. That's when you start dipping in the linemen because you got enough good linemen to where you could probably get a 4th rounder and turn them into something. Yeah. But what I know we need is 1st round talent in the wide receiver room. Yeah.
If we're just talking offense, man, like we're good on great, no, but like tight end, running back, O-line, we're straight. We're straight enough. Double dip, get receivers. I don't think there's a quarterback
DB, I won't be mad if we got a DB in a 3rd.
I was gonna go over. I was gonna go over to that. Is like I have a belief in Asante. I think Joey Porter's a top 5 corner in the league, in my opinion. I think our safeties are iffy because Jalen will probably stay, I think, and he's a good free safety. But I don't know even if our boy Deshaun does come back, it's still like there's an injury factor there. And Duggar, I've kind of changed my opinion on him. I was real high on him, but I realize he's not a starter probably for us. So I think personally we should get the best safety available, strong or free, best athlete at safety available as well at some point in the draft. At that point, obviously not the best period because that's a first round guy, I'm sure. But we should dip in safety. Linebacker wouldn't hurt because I don't know where Patrick Queen's going.
Yeah, it seems like Patrick Queen.
D-line would be nice because I don't know if Cam's staying, Defense still has some spots, but like we're high on offensive. We don't need any edges. D-line would be nice for some depth. I believe in Yaya. I believe in the guys coming up.
I do, and
DB, I like the room, but he's right.
I kind of feel like YA played a little bit more than what we wanted them to this year, and that's not me. That's not me saying he's not capable. That's just me saying,
which could be good for a year two jump, though.
And that's true. I was going to get to that. Like, it could be good for him for this year in terms of experience wise, which I'm not mad at it. But I wonder how much we played him out of necessity.
He's a round 5 guy, and he was playing like he was a round 2.
Yeah. Now he
same with Sawyer, but Sawyer did his thing.
Sawyer. I'm very comfortable with our.
We need to trade Highsmith or somebody
though, because bro, I don't know if it's the scheme, and we are going to come in with a different scheme. So honestly, we say we know what we need in terms of needs, but really we might not know because we might have some great defensive backs that just didn't thrive in a certain system.
It's still going to be the same defense, but there's going to be different
variations to
there's going to be a different approach.
You can do different things with it. 3-3.
Calls are going to be all different. Yeah.
So I'm excited for the turnover. Clearly, we're about to start wrapping up.
I'm cloudy on defense, so we can
talent wise,
like I don't know what you're right. I don't know what we need because I don't see a blueprint. The only comment I have on our defense right now, I'm looking at a Watt poster right now. I think we're stuck with them, and that's fine.
Yeah,
Highsmith got to go because Herbig, if he goes, we're letting loose the best defensive free agent in the league right now.
Bro. It's hard because you know what? Beginning of the year last year, I would have told you Herbig for Highsmith in a heartbeat. But man, Highsmith played some great balls.
He did, man. But that's even more of a reason to get really good trade value out of him.
That's true.
Herbig played just as well, just not against the run. And then you got Sawyer to factor in for the run.
That's true. And I guess if you're looking at it like that, then yeah, he's right because at the end of the day, we can't get rid of TJ. We pay him too much damn money. So
we got to go.
That would be the number one guy. We should have got rid of TJ when we had the chance.
If we're the Steelers, bro, and we don't have Herbig and Pickens in 2026, man, I'm gonna be a fan forever. But man, do I not want to be, because I think those are my 2 favorite players that have been on the Steelers.
Yeah, Herbig he's one of those dudes.
We've been saying since on this podcast.
I'll just be honest. Well, the only knock on Herbig is he gets a lot of hamstring injuries and shit. But outside
all of our outside
that,
linebackers do.
Yeah, that's kind of a common thing with linebackers in general. But
explosion.
Because it's a different twitch of movement and things like that. But Herbig, he's a dog, bro. Like, I think Highsmith's a dog. It's just,
love Highsmith.
It's one of those things like, I'm just going with the guy that's a tad bit more youthful, not because Highsmith, he's in his prime right now, bro. I think if he goes somewhere, bro, he could be a monster, and he could be a monster that we have to handle at the end of the day. And I don't really want that. I'd rather see TJ walk, a guy who I feel like is on a decline.
Oh, in terms of like world, we don't pay TJ and we have Highsmith and Herbig. Yeah,
but that's not the reality of the situation.
Not the
so
But I want Herbig real bad because I think
if I
Highsmith will go and be a good guy. But I think Herbig goes to a contender and he takes over the defense, bro. He's the face.
He could because he has the explosiveness. He has the moves on the outside, pass rush. Highsmith, it was like Highsmith was really good at both. He was really good at the run stop and he was really good at pass rushing. He wasn't elite at neither.
It would hurt to see him leave.
I would say Herbig is a elite pass rusher, a elite playmaker.
He has more star power.
A decent run stopper. So like, it's like, what do you want? Do you want more stability there, or do you want guys that's going to make the highlight reel plays? With that being said, I don't know, because TJ was that guy where he would leave open gashes in the run game, just being a guy of trying to make the big play all the time, and he's still going to be that for us. Like, I love TJ. Don't get it wrong. It feels wrong to even talk about him in this, because if people wasn't asked, like, about the top edge rushers, I'm putting TJ up there all the time.
Yeah,
but
you have to.
With that being said, I mean, he does a lot of things on his own that's not necessarily team defense or team oriented that hurts us in a way, especially in those games where you got to stop the run and you got him picking sides on where the hell he wants to go. We can't have those things. We need guys that's willing to just, play the defense that's in front of them, let the back end do their thing. Everyone needs to be.
They said they were going to move him around this year. He was pretty stagnant, man.
Yeah. But then I'm also excited because we got a new D coordinator, so let's see what he does with him.
Yeah.
But
I love TJ.
Someone has to walk, and
I just think that's the biggest mistake we've made business-wise in years is giving him that money.
I do too.
Horrible
there's no
mistake.
question. I think
horrible.
I think we're proving that because I think what's the reason why we didn't win a playoff game? I would say before anything about our D, we went through a stretch of games where we didn't have TJ and we was winning. So my thing is, okay, now you didn't have TJs for those games, but you also don't have an offensive weapon that you would have had if you just got rid of him in general. And we would have been just fine on defense. I told people that from the get-go. A lot of people didn't understand it because it's TJ Watt. But when I'm telling people what the hell he does in the run game, I played the same position.
Too.
Yeah, I played the same position as him in high school. So I could understand not saying I'm TJ, but I'm saying I could understand responsibilities in the run game. And I understand that this motherfucker used to just run upfield, try to make a tackle, not even reading the defense, not even baiting the quarterbacks. So, we played Lamar higher many times. I never once seen TJ play two. I always see him either crash down on Derrick Henry or crash straight into Lamar Jackson and leaves either Derrick Henry open in the run game or leaves Lamar Jackson in the run game. You got to learn how to play two as a defensive coordinator is not commit to either.
He's always in a wide nine technique and always chooses pass first, which is cool. I get today's day and
he's a dog, but TJ honestly is not the smartest player, bro.
Nah.
And I know he's not because and this ain't not, bro. TJ, if you ever see this, bro, hey, I'll cop please probably. But what I'm saying is intelligence to me is being able to diagnose and understand things. So when you see a defense is playing you a certain way, you gotta know a counterpart off of that, So they're letting you fly upfield. You gotta know, okay, a screen's gonna come eventually. You gotta know down and distance. You gotta know things that's okay, I've been playing aggressive. Let me not just go 1,000 miles per hour, but let me be.
Miles Garrett plays higher IQ football.
It's like let me be.
Which I hate to say as a student.
Let me be. I mean, if people was, I always say this though. Who would I take out of TJ and
right now?
It depends on the game, right? Because if I need someone to go out here and wreck something, I'd probably take TJ. But if I need someone that's gonna
our team would be a lot better with Miles right now than TJ, of course, because we have outside linebackers.
He's dominant. He's dominant in the pass rush game, and he's dominant in the run game.
But I'll go to the grave saying TJ is better all time than Miles, regardless, because I'm a Steeler fan and because at this point we grew up with him. Shazier was my favorite player. We drafted TJ his last year, I think, or the second to his last year, and that became the face of our team afterwards. We love TJ, man. We love TJ. I don't even have to speak for him. We both love TJ, but. Man, it was time last year, and now that we're with him,
the shit that we let him get away with is you're at a point in your career where we can't let you get away with certain things, even
if it's crunch time.
Yeah,
if it's win now time, then you got to hold everyone accountable. I don't care what your accolades are. I don't care if you're already in the Hall of Fame, basically.
Yeah,
bro, it's time to go. I don't care. I do not care your name.
And that's kind of my point.
Mostly as a fan,
and I'm done.
Yeah, me too. I'm done.
It's we had guys like Lamar Woodley's, the James Ferriers of the world that were Steeler greats, but they weren't necessarily looked at in the NFL as the best at their positions.
Mm-hmm.
But when I tell you they did what the hell they were asked to do, and they did it with 100% effort, and they did it with 100% thinking, and they did it with team defense, bro.
Team D.
No one man above the group, bro. No one man above the army is just a
that's
very
what
cliche.
TJ feels like.
But naturally, it's
you
could tell TJ goes out there with something to prove. We could be down by fucking 2 touchdowns, but if he gets a sack in the third, he's doing his little where it's okay, now I'm seeing where your head's at. Okay, it's not really so much about the team, it's more about what's TJ doing,
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's always like that, I'm not saying that's his character as a person, just
he loves the Steelers. I mean, if he didn't, he would have been gone, I think.
Yeah, of course he loves the Steelers. Of course, he's embraced here, and I'm pretty sure a lot of players know if they were to leave Pittsburgh, they wouldn't be as embraced as because we have delusional fans. At the end of the day, if we have a good wide receiver, we're going to talk him up like he's a great one. If we have a decent linebacker, we're going to talk about him.
TJ right now is our Big Ben, of the team. He's you never could go against him fully because he's the face of the franchise right now. Still,
yeah, but even Big Ben got his 2 and went there 3. So it's like, you got no legs to stand on. But we ain't never won a playoff game with you, and that's what I was telling people. Like, as great as he is, as much as we think as a fan base we might need him, what have we won with them?
Mostly with how impactful that position is in today's NFL. It honestly is the quarterback of the defense. It used to be middle linebacker, of course, still to an extent it is mentally. You're getting everybody in the right spot. But in terms of game impact, his position is the position. And he's performed bad in the playoffs overall. Yeah. So, I agree.
I don't know if I would say bad or if I would just say he wasn't present. And that could be a form of him playing
And that's bad to me because, I've yelled at TJ for years, like when I'm sitting on the couch, because in a time of need, I look over and I say, 90's supposed to be like, the guy, where is he?
James Harrison caught a pick 6 in the Super Bowl. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's why stuff like that is why he will always be a Steelers legend.
He talks all he wants and says crazy stuff about the Steelers.
But you know what?
But you can't take away the fact that he won us that Super Bowl.
Yeah, man. Like when things come and you need your top players to perform, I understand circumstances. I understand that. You know, you gotta make a play when people need you to. When your fan
in a perfect world, I want to see TJ make that big play and get us all the way.
Hey, man, you're Mr. Money, so I'm not gonna talk too bad on you. I mean, I honestly, a guy like me, like if I had however many mil you got, I'm good. Damn, what y'all talking about? You know, I'll be back. I'll see you whenever when it's training camp. I'll be there. You can talk all that. Oh, you picking side stuff, but at the end of the day, I'm getting paid just to breathe. So I'm not gonna hate on it, but what I'll say is I don't necessarily think we need him on the team, but that's all I.
We're at a crossroad with that because we can't do nothing about it, sadly. But yeah, I mean we're deep there. But yeah, that's really all I have to say. It's kind of a sporadic in some episode, but really it's just I think this is a raw cut like where the Steelers are at. And we're still assessing things. I haven't heard too much whispers about like if Aaron's definitely coming back or not. I think we'll see that by the time the weather breaks. Because apparently they do have him on a different time constraint. Like they're really like, hey, you got to let us know. And I think McCarthy is more like that than Tomlin and them. I think he will be like, well, mainly because of his position. He's just coming in. He's a new head coach of this team, regardless of his past. This is a new beginning for him, and he can't put his, hang his